Yo, what's up YouTube? It's PigeonEmpire back again with another video for you guys. And today we are going to take a look at episode 2 of Tea Time with PigeonEmpire. Well guys, since as I'm recording this video, the elections in my country are going on, so we'll talk about the 2007 post-election violence and how I witnessed that shit and the whole story as to how it all happened and what I witnessed. So stay tuned, get your drinks ready. Today I got mixture of half scoop of whey protein and some coffee, some strong American coffee. This shit is great, man. Let me know what you guys are drinking in the comments, man. I'm curious to know what you guys drink. Anyway guys, let me start off by saying a big thank you to everyone that's been rocking with me since day one, and everyone that's been showing support and love in the comments, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I appreciate every one of you guys, and you guys really mean a lot to me. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's head on with this story. And one more announcement I want to make is from the next episode, okay? Put down your questions in the comments. Put down whatever, guys. Whatever you want to know about me, pigeons, any questions you guys want to know about anything. Put it down in the comments of this video. And I will go through these comments and answer them in the next episode of Tea Time with PigeonEmpire. So make sure you put your questions, anything you want to ask, movies, music, anything guys, anything you're curious to know about me, or you want my opinion on anything, just let me know. Put it down in the comments in this video. I'll make sure to feature it on the next video, and I'll answer them on the next episode. So guys, it was very tragic and it was very violent and it was all messed up, guys. You guys have no idea, man. It was very crazy. So where does my story come in? Well, let me explain to you guys, okay? So basically guys, we have two shops in town, okay? And they are textile shops, both of them. So what happened was, like, the next day after elections, everything was calm. No one expected any violence or fighting or any sort of shit like that. Like, it has always been calm. All elections have been calm in my country, basically, since all the elections. I can't recall any other election that erupted in violence apart from the elections in 2007. So going ahead and seeing how old I was 2007, guys. We are in 2017. I'm 21 right now, and it happened in 2007. So you can do the math. I was approximately about 14, if I'm not wrong, if my math is correct. I was about 14 years old at that time, and I was younger too. I was very young. So you see, guys, I'm known to repair phones, fix phones. Like, I'm known to be a tech guy. Okay, like I'm heavy in the tech shit, man. But that's one thing you guys don't know about me, but I'm very heavy in the tech shit. So since being very young, like, the guys in town, like, you see on the streets, I'll put up pictures, guys. You see, like, you can see these guys sell baobab seeds and all this type of stuff on the streets. And all those guys on the streets used to have, like, they used to have decent phones. Like, at that time, there used to be Nokias and all those crappy phones. Like, there never used to be Android, there never used to be iPhones and shit like that in my country. People used to just use those Nokia phones. N70, 6300, that's one of my favorite phones that I've ever used till today, and that's basically hands down, guys. 6300 was one of the best phones I ever used. Okay, so I used to go there, and basically whenever I used to go there, like, my grandfather's shop is right there. Like, my grandfather's shop is here, and, like, let's say 10 shops later is my uncle's shop. So they are in the same line. Okay, and in this is the line. Like, on this line there are shops, on opposite line there are shops, and in the middle is the road for cars to pass. Okay, so I had gone to my grandfather's shop. I don't know why I went to my grandfather's shop, but it was for no reason. I went to my grandfather's shop, and as I said, I'm tech savvy like crazy. So I've been messing around with phones since young age, and I've been knowing a lot about phones. So I used to like mess around with different type of shit, and people never used to know about that. Like the guys that used to have phones on the streets, and they never used to know about how to operate phones and shit like that. So I used to go there just to my grandfather's shop just to chill down there, and because it used to get boring in the house. So I remember it was holidays at that time, schools were closed, and I was kind of bored. Like the day before was a holiday, it was elections, and it was boring like crazy. And the next day I was like, nah, let me just go to the shop. So what happened was no one expected the elections to turn out in violence, guys. So basically I just left the house, and it was early in the morning. My grandfather usually leaves from home at about 7:30, 8 o'clock to go to the shop and open the shop early in the morning. So what happened was everyone was asleep, and it was basically during the holidays. Everyone was asleep, and my grandfather was up and was ready. So I've always been, guys. One funny thing about me is, like during school days, you don't feel like waking up, but during the holidays, like naturally, you just wake up so early and don't feel like sleeping more. Like it's messed up. And me, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I have always never been able to sleep during the holidays like other guys, man. I know crazy guys sleeping till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, man. This shit is like crazy. But I usually can't sleep till that long. So me usually, even in the holidays, guys, 7 o'clock, 7:30, I'm already up. So I remember, and we used to have a driver. So the driver used to be here already, and he used to basically drive us everywhere. So my grandfather didn't have the need to wake up anyone to drive him to the shop, and all he had to do was go downstairs, get in the car, the driver is there, and he drops him. So me waking up at 7:30 in the morning, and I saw my grandfather. He's already ready to go to the shop, and I was like, God damn, let me just get ready and head out, because I don't want to sit in the house, and there's nothing to do in the house. And back then, guys, we never used to have TV. Like, we used to have TV, but there never used to be nice channels you can sit and watch. And we never used to be allowed to play around with all these TVs, phones, and shit like that. But that was the main reason to why I used to go out, like, chill out with other people who had phones and shit. Like, that used to be interesting for me, sitting outside rather than sitting at home. Because at home, we never used to have the privileges to play with this tech shit, man. And whenever we used to get caught playing around with phones and shit, we used to be beaten like crazy. And I've been beaten up so many times playing around with phones and shit. And that's basically being disciplined, guys. And turned out it was all worth it, because you go ahead and see the kids of these days playing around with phones and shit like that, guys. They are spoiled at a very, very young age, guys. Like, they're exposed to all this shit on the internet. And if you're not careful on the internet, guys, with your kids, like, they will end up learning a lot of shit from the internet, man. The internet is crazy. So, if any of you parents watching this, I advise you just stop your kids from using any tech and, like, any sort of technology, guys. Make them be active, make them be social make them be physical, guys. Not let them play around with tech and shit like that. Okay, so, heading on with the story, let me have a sip here. So as I was saying, guys, I got up at 7:30 in the morning, and I saw my grandfather ready. So what I did was I was like, let me just go to town with him. So I get ready, I shower, I get ready, and there I was ready. I went down, I climbed the car, we all went to town. No one in the house knew that I was going out. Okay, so guys, I never told anyone where I was going. No one knew where I was going, and I was young at that time. But I just left. I was like, nah, they will just assume that I'm at the shop. And they usually assume when they don't see me early in the morning at that time, everyone assumes that I'm at the shop. And I'm at the shop. So I went to my grandfather at the shop, and it was calm, it was normal. Like, guys, there was nothing you could expect. Like, you could not expect violence would break out. Okay? I remember being in my grandfather's shop like 5 minutes before this shit erupted. I was at my grandfather's shop, and I was playing with someone's phone right there in my grandfather's shop. And then one of the guys opposite the shop, like selling pop-up seeds and stuff like that, called me. He's like, yo, come here, man. So what I did was I got up. I can never forget that, guys. It's like a scene in my mind, guys. It's like a first person type of scene in my mind that I will never forget, guys. Like, I got up from the shop and I started walking from the shop. I got out of the shop and was all crossing the road. I was on the middle of the street, I was in the middle of the street, and I had a loud bang, guys. I had a very loud bang, and then I saw a tear gas can flew right by my face, and I was like, I froze, guys. I didn't know, guys. I literally froze there like a statue, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I was in shock, I was panicking, and it was crazy. So right after the tear gas was thrown, there was smoke all over the place, and I could not see what was what, guys. I was freaked out. I was in shock. Like, I just froze. I didn't even know what the hell was going on. My mind even couldn't process the shit that was going on there, and it was unexpected. Remember, guys, you see, when you're expecting something like something bad or some fight or some shit like that, you are prepared for any sudden activities going around. But guys, this was very, very unexpected. Okay, so luckily everyone in that area knows me, because at that time, guys, I used to be heavy in town. Like, I used to roam around town, and everyone used to know me like crazy there. I used to be known as the guy that fixes phones and knows how to like go around phones if someone has an issue. At that time, people used to use GPRS internet, and they never used to be APN settings like the internet connection now, like 3G, 4G. You just have to put the APN settings. It used to be GPRS, so you had to, in our country, we had to request the service provider to send us the settings, and there was a process of installing and shit like that. So everyone used to know that this guy could set up internet on the phone. All sorts of issues with the phones, tweaking your phone and shit like that. So everyone used to know me about that. That was a good thing that I was known. Would I have not been known, guys, I might not be alive today. So that the good thing was everyone knew me in that area. I blinked my eye, and I'm like, my hand is grabbed and I'm pushed. So what happened was, guys, I was pulled on the opposite shop. Opposite my grandfather's shop, there was another shop of textile as well. That whole area where my grandfather's shop is and my uncle's shop is, that whole area opposite, and that both the sides, it's all textile. So everyone knows me, as I said, in that area. My hand was pulled, and I was put in that shop, and the doors were closed. Once I was pulled in, the doors were closed, and I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm asking everyone, and no one is like responding to me properly, because everyone is in shock. And remember, guys, the shops are really small, and like 30-40 people pushed in that one shop, like in a scramble, guys. People just filled up in the shops and scrambled inside the shops, any shops they could, to seek for safety. Like, it was crazy, guys. Like, we were squeezed in. I was feeling so claustrophobic. I was in shock at that time. It was very traumatic, guys. I remember I've never experienced, at that moment of my life, guys, I've never experienced any sort of violence or any sort of emergency type of situation like that. So it was the first time, and it was unexpected. So it got the best of me, and everyone that was there unexpectedly was in terrible shock, guys. It was messed up, and it was hell. So I'm asking around, what's going on, and guys, inside that shop there are like 20-30 people just murmuring, guys, just murmuring. You can hear everyone talking. There is noise outside. You can hear bangs, gunshots, and we are inside right there murmuring, guys. It was a scene, guys. It was a crazy scene, and I can never forget that day in my life. Like, that was the experience of my life. Like, that was crazy, and till this day, guys, that shit like impacted my mind very negatively, and it triggered anxiety in my life. And to this day, I suffer from anxiety, but nothing severe like that. But whenever like I'm going out or some shit like that, like 10, 20, 30, 40 scenarios pass my mind. Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this? So I basically see that happening there. Like, guys, our minds are very, very efficient. So once your mind experiences and your body experiences something, it will take that reaction, and automatically, without your control, it basically creates different, it basically simulates different types of situations and scenarios in your mind to be able to protect yourself. And that's totally normal in human beings, guys. That's a protective measure in our bodies that has been given to us. And now, as I was asking everyone is murmuring, and you can hear bangs and shit like that. No one was responding to me, and I'm like, shit. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, shit. I don't know, man. I was speechless. Like, I was standing in the middle of a crowd, speechless, talking to myself, telling myself, like, I'm going to die today. I don't know what I'll do. How will I get out of here? what will be the situation? Will I ever get home? Will I be able to get out of here? Like, those things were running through my mind now. Running through my mind, guys. And my mind is racing. My heart is beating so fast. It was crazy. And I was also worried, very, very worried about my grandfather, because my grandfather was on the opposite side. And I had no idea if he managed to get his shop closed. If they managed to get to safety. I was like, guys, every single thing was running through my mind. Because at that time I was separated from my grandfather. I was in someone else's shop. My grandfather was somewhere else. My uncle is in another shop. And then I decided, I'm like, now I can't do anything. So after all that panic and scramble, I stood up and I'm like, now I gotta get my shit straight. I gotta get my shit together to be able to tackle that scenario. Guys, you never ever want to panic on a situation like this. You never ever want to like take decisions while you're in shock, or do anything while you're in that type of, like, when you're in a when you're in a thought processing moment and in shock or in trauma. You never want to make any decisions. What you gotta do is stand up, breathe, take deep breaths, make your mind relax, assess the moment, and then start thinking. So what I did was I just stood there and just calmed myself down for like about 2 minutes, and I'm like, now I have got to get my shit together and look for a way to get the hell out of here and rush home. So what I do was, I saw that small tiny gap on the middle of the door, and I go ahead and I peep through that door. The moment I peeped through the door, guys, it was a bloody scene, guys. People were beating each other, people are stabbing each other, others were taking car tires and burning car tires, lighting fires on shops, man. It was crazy, like goddamn riots, guys. That shit was crazy. And it's funny, people are fighting because it was said that one of the presidents had rigged. I don't know, man. It was some shit like that. Guys, I've never been a politics guy. I don't even care about politics. I don't even vote or bother about any sort of thing like that, guys. I basically don't care, guys. And at that time I was 14, so I didn't even know what was what. To this day I don't care about politics and stuff like that. I prefer worrying about my life and worrying about everything going on in my life and working on becoming a better person, rather than worrying about shit like that won't concern me and things that won't affect me. The citizens of this country started fighting. It was like a tribal war now. You see, the two candidates that were standing up for president were different tribes, okay? They were different tribes. So what happened was, once the favorite candidate lost the elections, and everyone came to the conclusions of rigging and all sorts of stories like that, and it started a tribal war. Now the tribes that were not related to the two candidates, all the other tribes joined in. Now they joined in on the candidate that they were voting for and that lost. So that started war, guys. Now amongst tribes, people are just beating each other, killing each other. Anyone finds out you are of a certain tribe, you are being killed, you are being beaten up, gunshots. It was crazy. So I literally saw, guys, people being put down. I remember seeing this one guy being stabbed on the neck, right here, or over here, or on the shoulder, some shit like that. It's being stabbed, and the 1 minute he's there standing and he's being stabbed, the next minute he's down and he's no more. Like, all that blood, guys, it was crazy. I'm telling you guys, it was I've experienced that shit. I know, I'm telling you guys. So what happened was, then after like 15 minutes of that shit going on there, the fighting and shit like that, we finally started hearing sirens, and I peep again through that hole, and I see police cars coming in now, heavy police coming in, military, heavy police, heavy soldiers coming in now with guns and shields and shit like that. The cops and the soldiers managed to ease that shit down. And then once that shit cooled down, the riot stopped in the middle of the street. The shop was open where I was locked in at. I got out, and immediately I ran to my grandfather's shop, making sure he's fine, everything is fine. We closed the shop, got out of there, we rushed to my uncle's shop. My uncle also closed his shop, and We went rushed there. We entered there, and my uncle's shop was closed too. Sat in the car and we just drove. We just got the hell out of there. We like rushed. We drove like crazy, guys. We just rushed out of there and reached home. And the area where I stay in, anything that happens, like fights and riots and any shit like that happens, violent type of shit happens, in my area where I stay, in my area, nothing happens like that. It's always safe here, guys. It's always safe here, guys, because we are far away from town and shit like that. Here no one cares about anything. So I'm in a very, very good neighborhood. So we rushed back here, and the moment I entered the house, guys, I remember opening the door in the house, and I remember just being screamed at like crazy, man. Like everyone, my parents was screaming at me like, "Are you crazy? Why the hell do you go out there?" Blah, 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 shit like that, man. I was being fumed at. It was crazy. I was being fumed at, and I was like, how am I supposed to know riots will occur or people will start fighting or shit like that? How am I supposed to know about that, guys? Like, I had no idea anything like that would happen. No one expected that. No one at all whatsoever had it coming, and no one knew people would fight. There would be violence. So that finished, and I was like, I didn't know, man. I didn't know. I had no idea. All I did was, it's boring in the house, so I went. So I went basically to keep myself occupied. I was called there, and I'm like, now if you ever go out, you will see. You are not supposed to go out at all until we allow you to go out, and we tell you it's okay to go out, stuff like that. And okay, it all finished out, and we stayed home, like all this shit finished, but it continued for a pretty long time. Like I think I can't remember, like a month or some shit like that, but it continued for long, like until the United Nations were forced to come. And I don't know, guys, you guys should know about me. I don't know anything about politics, anything about what happens in governments, if there's war to find peace and shit like that. I don't know. All I remember is I know what UN is, United Nations. United Nations came down to try to create peace or some shit like that. I don't know, but some shit like that occurred. But before that, it was heavy wars, guys. Like people were stuck in their houses, and it was just war. You could just hear gunshots, people killing each other, people stealing from each other. And guys, the big thing about our country is like once violent, people mostly create violence and shit like that for the purpose of being able to steal and rob. So like when there is war, people's shops and shit like that is left alone. And then the other group, there's the other group, that specific group that's not interested in fighting for war, for the politics or shit like that. Their goal is to rob and steal. So what they do is they create more havoc outside by going and stealing, robbing, and creating more havoc by stealing people's stuff from their shops, breaking into shops. So what happened was, like, it escalated from being the post-election violence to being now people stealing and robbing others. So the stealing and robbing went on. Like people used to steal TVs, beds from shops, mattresses, pillows, like crazy shit, guys, like phones, all type of shit. And the owners that were robbed got really pissed off, and they started doing witchcraft now. Guys, one thing in my country, one thing escalates to another, and it gets crazy. So I remember hearing these stories, like this guy stole a television. He stole a television from a shop or from a house, I don't remember, but one of those things. He stole a television, and he had the television on his back like this, and he was running with the TV on his neck. After stealing it, people did witchcraft on that guy, and the TV got stuck on his neck. Like, guys, witchcraft does exist, and we have witnessed that shit. We have seen shit like that. Some other guy that stole a bed or a mattress, I can't remember well, but some shit like that. Whenever he used to go and sleep on the bed, he used to see someone sleeping next to him, but in reality it was all witchcraft. and they all suffered. They all went through problems, and all those problems that happened to them kept happening until they went ahead and returned all the stuff back to the owners. Just when all that witchcraft was taken out of them. Some shit like, I don't know how this shit works, but it works, guys. It's there. It was all over the news. And if I can find some articles, they would be all over the video here. And finally, UN came. And I don't know how this shit ended up, because later on, I stopped bothering because I was stuck in the house and I was really pissed off by being stuck in the house. You guys don't know how it feels like being stuck in the house day and night for like a month or some shit like that. It was hella crazy, man. Anyway, that was the story, and since today is the election day in my country, and it's a video mostly out there to be a reminder of the tragedy that happened, and to put it out there that people should not create violence or fight over anything like that, because I would never want some shit like that to happen again in this country. And let's all pray for this country, and let's all pray that nothing happens at all. There is no violence. There's nothing like what happened in 2007, and we don't want lives to be lost the way lives were lost in 2007. So for this time, guys, let's have a moment of silence for those that passed away, for those lives that were taken away during the post-election violence in 2007. Let's have a moment of silence for them. Let's pray for them that they all rest in peace. These lives were lost, and it would always be remembered. And I can assure you, I understand what the families must be feeling every election. Like, they would be having that fear and that anxiety every elections, because they lost one of their family members, one of their relatives, one of maybe their neighbors, because of elections, because of what happened in the 2007 tragedy, elections, post-election violence. And a big sorry to all the families that lost their loved ones. And let's hope that this shit doesn't happen. And let's all pray for the safety of this country. And any Kenyans watching this, even if it's 2 or 3, I don't really care. But my message out there is, guys, let's not fight. We are all one. We need each other to grow. We need each other to progress in life. We need each other for everything. So there is no reason to fight, regardless to who wins the elections, regardless to anything. We have to stand together and unite, because this country, like, we are the ones building this country, and we are the ones responsible for everything as the citizens. So we have to be unite, and we have to come together during this time, and nothing should separate us. No tribe, no race, no color, nothing, guys. No religion. We are all one at the end. And say no to fighting, guys. Violence is never the solution to anything. In fact, it will cause you losses. It will cause you problems in life, guys. Violence is not the way. Regardless, not even with elections, guys. Regardless of that, even if you have an argument with your neighbor, with your friend, with your family members, violence is never a solution. Violence is never an answer. Rather than sitting and talking to one another and trying to figure out where the misunderstanding is, what has caused the issue, and solving it out, that is the proper way to go, and that is the way you solve an issue and come together as one and be stronger. Because let's face it, you'll always be weak alone. But if you are in a group, you are together, all of us are unite, we are stronger than being alone. So it doesn't really matter, because we are all human beings at the end. No race, no color, no religion separates us, guys. In the eyes of God, we are all one. We are all human beings regardless to anything. So we should not discriminate each other, because we all have imperfections regardless. So anyway, guys, this concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, learned a lesson from this story, and like saw what I experienced. And if you can relate to that, definitely let me know in the comments. If you have ever come across a situation like this, like experienced any traumatic event like that or some shit like that, you guys let me know in the comments. Again, submit your questions in the comments. It's not a must to be about pigeons. On tea time, It's not about pigeons, guys. During Tea Time with Pigeon Empire is basically a story. So it's not a must that it's going to be about pigeons. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff according to the day and according to what I feel like it's appropriate on that day to talk about on that episode. So that Q&A will be a part of this series. So in every episode, that's why I'm asking you guys, ask your questions in the comments. Anything, guys, you want to know about, whatever, about me, about anything, guys. Anyway, guys, keep us in your prayers. Let's all pray for this country. Let's all pray that there's no violence, there's no fighting, nothing happens. And let's all pray that everything finishes in good terms and this country stands up to be stronger than it is. And there's more stability in this country than that what already is. It's, instead of it erupting into violence. So, guys, keep us in your prayers. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this episode if you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate your feedback and I love communicating with you guys. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, guys. I'm disappointed because our Instagram Pigeon Empire page it's not done that well. We don't have that many followers on Instagram and I'm very disappointed on that. So, guys, if you see this video, go on the description on the Instagram link, click on that, follow the Pigeon Empire page so that I can be putting out updates for you guys there and I can do live Q&As, like regardless to YouTube. I can do live Q&As, like whenever I'm free, I got time, I can do live Q&As on the Instagram page. So you guys have to follow it for me to be able to do something for you guys. Like I can't create content without having enough followers on a specific platform. Follow the Pigeon Empire page. Anyway, till next time, guys. Pigeon Empire, we off. Stay safe. Take good care of your pigeons. And one more thing. Yeah, I know the drill, man. Let's pull up our middle fingers up in the air. And say it with me. Oh yeah, haters. Oh yeah, trolls. Go fuck yourself and die. It's your boy, No Ceilings. I'm out, baby. Peace.